Kayla is a professional Montessorian from London, offering consultancy services to parents, educators, and settings for children from birth to 6. If you've never heard of this approach to children development, then you are in for a surprise at how this school puts children at the heart of hands-on learning using creative objects, sensory and nature study for an all-round enriched educational experience that inspires children to want to learn.
Self-employed, so I'm kind of running it, but it's not mine. It's run by the parents, but I'm employed by them, and it's from the school that I was actually working for before. So the parents, because sadly the school closed down, and the parents, they didn't want their children to go to a mainstream school, so they employed one of the staff, and because I was doing something else at the time, they then asked me if I wanted to come on board and support them.
I know you said challenges-wise, structure is important, but I guess there's loads of misconceptions that are said around Montessori and alternative learning.
Oh yes, I think a lot of the time people just think it's quite airy-fairy or woo-woo, as they might say, and that children can do anything they like. So no. That's not the case, because if children can do anything they like, it will be very chaotic, and we wouldn't have the beautiful classroom where children are working seamlessly. There's a nice buzz in the air. It's freedom within limits, so there are ground rules. Children need to know about boundaries and consequences. So, we might not have the normal consequence of go to your head teacher because you're not listening or you're misbehaving, but to be fair, the children generally behave really well.
This is a wonderful space. I wonder what it will look like with all the kind of Montessori type of things out. I'm really excited to see, in fact.
This might be one of the only things that you'll see, which is the bead frame.
Oh, wow.
Here. So you've got like skip counting, so you're counting in 1s, 2s, 3s. Shows you the squared numbers, so you just show the child that's how they learn, and then they can learn the cube numbers, so they count all of these. You've got these like tickets here, and then you just put them by the numbers.
Oh wow.
But I never forget, we had a 4-year-old, and he came and he saw this, and we just got this. I think we may have got this from a nursery a school that closed down actually. And he came in, he saw it. He was literally just saying like all the square roots.
Oh
just
wow.
by looking at these. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. A 4-year-old, and he got so obsessed with it, and he would just spend hours. And that's the beauty about Montessori.
Yeah.
We don't, children can choose what they like to do, to some degree. But if we can see a child is really engaged, and let's say the child is doing that for an hour, we're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
We will leave them. Oh, look, a bit of nature. We're looking at botany.
Oh!
This term. There's a bit of zoology on there as well.
That's cool.
With Montessori, they have vertical grouping, which is mixed ages. So some people might feel a bit funny about that. However, let's say we've got the younger children, so we've got a 3 to 6-year-old classroom. The 3-year-olds will learn a lot from the 6-year-olds, and then there might be something the 3-year-olds can do that a 6-year-old can't do. So it's really interesting because, the way that some of the younger children might want to join the older children, and they can learn a lot. If you think about, siblings, when you're the younger sibling and then you probably a lot of the time you learn a bit faster because you've got your older sibling to teach you, and children are more like susceptible to listen to an older child than an adult, you know. So there's a lot of learning involved, and we can ask a child who's mastered an activity to go and show it to a younger child. So that's also helping to build the community.
That makes a lot of sense. Does every term it change?
Every half term. So Montessori have something called the Great Lessons, and it's kind of like cultural studies. You learn about the world, how it was formed. You learn about so you've got the coming of life, or the coming of universe, coming of life. So coming of life is the zoology and the botany. You've got how numbers and letters started, things like that. So it delves into a lot of things, and when I look at it and I think, wow, people learn this in year 9, or later. So there's a lot that they learn in such a short space of time. But also this shelf, I love this shelf. So this is like a mindfulness shelf. So we have like this little book, and it's got all these different cards in, and just makes children think about what they can do. Little book of positivity. We've got a few things to keep you calm, like a ground rules, outing ground rules booklet. This peace flower. So if children are having a disagreement, instead of the teacher just keep going over and helping, you have to take the flower, sit down, have a chat. Whoever has the flower is the speaker. The other one has to listen.
Oh, wow.
And then they just pass it along, because being able to communicate effectively with each other is really important. If it's too loud for them, you've got these ear defenders so they can focus and concentrate. We've got this as well, this Yotto player. So sometimes children can find it difficult to focus even with the ear defenders. So it's actually a parent that suggested this, and it worked really well. They've got a timer. So if you want to just take some time out, you can have 10-15 minutes to listen to that and then go back to your work. Or if you feel, well, I really need this in order to concentrate, then they can just bring that to a table, do their work, listen to all the different cards that are in here.
So over the years, have you seen an increase or noticed an increase of alternative schooling over the traditional kind of schools?
I would probably say so, mainly because of COVID, I would say. And also, I would say that because a lot of people are now seeing that there is help for their child. So let's say, for instance, if your child has special needs, let's say ADHD or something like that, and they're not quite fitting in, and maybe a parent is looking at their reports, hearing the feedback from the teacher, and think, do you know what, my child does not fit in this school. I don't want my child to feel like an outcast, I don't want them ostracised. So I'm taking them out, and I'm going to put them in somewhere where they're going to feel valued. So I feel that a lot of parents are now, they're feeling a lot more empowered to think, do you know what, they don't have to be in the state system. I can take them out. I can either homeschool them myself or find an alternative school that will appreciate them, that my child will thrive in. This is literacy. So when you're starting off reading and writing, because all of our children, they know all the letter sounds, but we'd usually have sandpaper letters. That's how they start to learn to read and write. And then you've got, so you start off with the pink series. You have these, you've got like a pin, rolling pin, fan, rug, and then you'll use this large movable alphabet to spell the words.
Oh, wow.
So all the consonants are in red, and then the vowels are blue. And then you have this special mat here. And then you can do sentences or words. So let's say, for instance, I had a pan or a pot. You would sound it out. This one's a bit small, that's for this one, but it's just an example. Put up. It's underneath.
I think it was at the top, at the back.
The top? That's an
No,
F.
that's an F.
Hopefully it's in this one. Yeah, so they'll just do that with all of the others, and it shows them how to place words on a line as well, and the difference between the tall and the full and small letters. This is all about grammar, and then each grammar it has a different symbol, like the different types of grammar. So this is the farm box, and you can write sentences using that. So instead of a child just writing, so these are the symbols in 3D, so they can feel them. And then these boxes here are the different types of grammar. So you've got nouns in there. So we'd say, this is a noun. This is an adjective. So the adjective, we've got the adverbs. There's a lot of stuff, but I'll just bring out these cards.
Is there something about the way our brain works? Because even looking at this and then matching it with what's on the box, is that something that is Montessori as well?
It is. It's just about, bringing the abstract and the concrete together, because a lot of the ways that we learn is, the traditional learning ways is abstract. So you listen, you read, you write. It's not about manipulating, touching things. So the concrete is the hands-on, and that is what Montessori focuses on the most.
I know costs are one of the big factors that kind of put people off in a way of, because I'm from a working class background, for instance, I can't afford to send my child to a Montessori school or homeschool or afford it. How can you kind of introduce Montessori within the home
There's
settings?
a lot of ways. Well, you can contact me. So at home there's a lot of things that you can do, just very simple things. Even if you were to go on YouTube, or you can hire a Montessori consultant, giving you lots of ideas, but some things are just so basic. If you're thinking about refining your child's fine motor skills or gross motor skills, so fine motor skills, something so simple as, I don't know, it could be you could be in the garden, and then you're just transferring with a spoon, like in pots, soil from one. It could be a spoon, it could be a small little shovel, transferring soil from one pot to another. There's a lot of ways you could, say if you're in the kitchen and your child wants to help you. So it's like, okay, my child can cut a banana. You can use a real knife, just not a sharp knife. You can get a blunt knife, and the first thing is a banana, nice and easy to cut. You show them, get the knife, put it on top, and then you just push it down. So when you're learning beyond single digits, you can go up to like 9,999 just by using the beads. So I'll just give you like a demonstration. I'll use the smaller one. So So here we've got 1 unit, which is basically 1, 110, then we've got 100, 1,000. So you can feel 1,000 and how heavy it is, and then you've got the 1. So the children will understand the different quantities, how it feels. This is heavy. This is really light. And then 10 of these, 10 of these is this 10 bead bar. And then you've got 10 of these is 100. And then 10 of 100 is then 1,000. So you learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, division using this. But the first will be showing 1, 10, 100 and 1,000. And then we have the number. Thanks. I thought they were all going to fall out. Thank you. And then we have the number card. So that's 1. So once a child learns the quantities, they can look at the numbers. 110, 100, 1000. So you look at the number, the quantity, then you combine. And that's how Montessori usually works. So again, isolating, and then you combine. So number, quantity, then combine to see if the child has fully understood it. So you would do a 3-period lesson on this, just like what I showed you with the letters.
But yeah, the last question I'd like to ask you is, do you have any tips that you could offer, as you say, whether it's a single mom, whether it's someone that's trying to build a business and manage being a wife as well as mom, or like all these types of, because that's a very important thing, in fact, because I know you're actually a wifey too, so you know about that.
Well, about 7 months now, but yeah. I would say, let's just start off with the basics. Role model, number 1, that is key. You have to, live and breathe. I know it's difficult, but you have to live and breathe what you want your child to be, and they need to see that. And one thing that I always say, I heard it somewhere and I thought, this is a great one. You, even when your child's getting older, you want your child to rate you as well as respect you. You want your child to look at you and think, wow, I want to be just like my parent, rather than, oh, I can't do that because I'm going to get into trouble. So, just show how you show up so that your child can also show up too. I would say, if you are with someone, you have a partner, you have to have those really important conversations about you have to talk about your upbringing and what you want to bring as a parent, because if you have 2 completely different views of parenting, it's going to be challenging. The child will know who they can play, and you will just, bump heads, knock heads, yeah. So yeah, I think in terms of starting a business, again, you kind of have to write out a list. Like with me, I always have, at the end of the year, I have my goals. What do I want to achieve? And then I just break it down into months and then into days. And I guess when you have a child, you have to fit that around your child. So thinking about, let's say they're a bit older and they need your attention. So you can have timelines. So you can draw pictures, you can get your child to draw pictures, you can get maybe pictures from the internet, or maybe even pictures of your child when they're really young so they can see step by step what they need to do. Just put them on your wall, and then that way you can guide your child. Let's say if there's particular times for mummy time or daddy time, then you can have like a clock on there, and then it will show, okay, this time is my time with mummy or daddy. But just try and find things that can keep them busy. I'm not saying let your child just do what they want, be independent, because you then don't want them to feel lonely. You want to be around them and guide them at the same time. And you can be doing your work, but have things in front of you that your child can play with. And then that way, again, they've got that connection with you rather than you being in a completely different room. But it depends on the age of your child. If they're really young, I'd say try and keep them near you. Let them have their own corner and just have a variety of activities. So something to draw on, something to draw on, things to count, different types of numbers. Could be something naturey, it could be a plant, get a small tiny jug with water, let them fill it up, not fill it up, let them pour and water the flowers. They can clean leaves. They can help you with the housework, but do it with you rather than you do this and I do that.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely speaking to you today, and I've learned much more about Montessori and just seeing the settings. Wow. Thank you for watching. At the end of this video series, we'll follow a 10-episode podcast show. So stay tuned for some more amazing nature and holistic game changers. Like, share, comment, and hit the bell for the latest notifications. See more details and social links in the description box. Be safe and share your comments below.